This program was made possible in part by
Family traditions are never more important than when families gather around the dinner table to celebrate special occasions. Farm families of Mississippi share the bounty of the harvest with families throughout the state and even the nation. Chances are that your gatherings include delicious sweet corn, baked sweet potatoes, and a rich golden pecan pie. Buy Mississippi-grown products. It's good for your family and it's good for Mississippi. The Farm Families of Mississippi.
Mississippi Seafood Marketing, a division of the Department of Marine Resources. From our waters to your table. Fresh, local, healthy. Information available at dmr.ms.gov.
Well, hello. I'm Chef Rob Stinson, and this is Fit to Eat, a new series about eating healthy and living better. Mississippi is at the bottom of national studies in health and nutrition. Diabetes, heart disease, hypertension, and obesity run rampant in our great state. Well, I'm here to demonstrate how little changes in diet can make a big difference in health. And making those changes doesn't mean you have to sacrifice flavor to get rid of fat. Taking fresh, local ingredients, I'm going to teach you to make meals that are healthy and delicious without spending a fortune. And as always, you can find my recipes with all the nutritional information on our website, mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat. The shrimping industry has been a huge part of the development on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Today we're cooking Italian and we're using some beautiful fresh Gulf shrimp. And the most important thing, and I've got to tell you, when you're looking in the grocery store, try to find your good, local, wild-caught shrimp. There's a big difference between that and some other imported products, and you really want to search out what you're buying. And I tell you what, when you see good shrimp, fresh produce, go to your local farmers markets, buy as much as you can here local to support all the local merchants. It's the way to go. All right, now we've got a lot to do today. We are actually going to make a classic marinara sauce, which is a very light plum tomato sauce, and you'd see this pretty prevalent in South Italy. Now the way it's going to start, lots of garlic. There's no way around garlic in Italian food, and onion, all right? So to get going with this, we're going to place a good amount in the bottom of our bowl. And what we want to do, and I've tried to season this pot so that when the garlic and onion go in, they're automatically going to start browning. And that's a lot of heat going in there. Beautiful garlic. It's about 8 ounces of each. So this is not for the meek, but it's so incredible. I try to be kind of sparing on the oil. It's the way you want to cook. You really need to decide what is your commitment to eating healthy. And in this one, it's a blast because you got all these great flavors going on. And you can see it's already starting to brown some. All right, we're gonna turn the heat down a hair. We're gonna let that onion and garlic cook a little bit. Now what we're going to add in next is our black pepper. And it looks like a lot. You got to remember, this is a lot of tomato that's going in here. And crushed red pepper. There's a nice spice that goes along with marinara sauce. And really, you've got to remember, it's the sauce of South Italy. A lot of the food in South Italy is spicier than it is in Northern Italy. I had the great opportunity of working with a master Italian chef, Ciro Como, and Carmelo Chirico in Italy. And their belief was simple, fresh ingredients put together properly make great food. And that really says what Italian food, in my belief, is all about. Now we're going to actually deglaze that pan. Sometimes you'd use a little wine, sometimes not. Trying to be a little bit on the healthier side. And as that starts working, what we're going to do, I've got a pot in back that I've got up to a relatively rapid boil. And this, we're going to cook the healthy version of pasta, which is 100% whole wheat penne pasta. Let's take a look at that, and I'll show you. I mean, just simple, short penne pasta, 100% wheat, and drop it in the water. And we're going to keep our eye on that, strain it when it's ready. It's like I said, this dish, there's a whole lot going on. We're going to have a little bit of fun and actually see these tomatoes head into all of that seasoning right now. You can hear that sizzle. Now we want to kind of stir it in. And I tell you what, it already has got an incredible aroma. It's about to get much better. This is the fun part to me. Anybody who has ever worked with fresh basil knows there's no substitute for fresh herbs. So as you're looking at this right now, here's some beautiful basil. Tear it just in half. This is actually intended to be relatively good-sized pieces that'll break up and cook into the sauce. And the only part I'm keeping out is that little portion where all the stalks are. I love using fresh herbs in as much of my cooking as possible. And I tell you what, there's so many great farmers markets, stores that have all fresh herbs, and they've come down in price some. So again, we're going to tear a good portion of this basil in. And don't forget, you know, a lot of these recipes when you're watching get kind of complicated. Go to mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat, that's me, and you will definitely be able to get all of the details that you might not have been able to remember. What a great resource when you've got a wonderful website. All right, now it looks like a whole lot of basil, but believe it or not, fresh basil will cook into this sauce so well, and it will not be that predominant of a flavor. So we're going to go ahead, move that out of the way, and now take time to stir all that basil into the sauce. And I tell you what, it's almost like looking at holiday colors. I was commenting earlier how oftentimes the Italian food is the color of their flag, red, white, and green. And I don't think there's any coincidence that that's the colors they chose. Now, let's move over here. Just stir our pasta. When you're cooking pasta, be careful you don't let it sit on the bottom of the pot. It'll congeal together, and it might actually burn on the bottom. And this 100% whole wheat pasta, it's a little bit denser and heavier than traditional pasta. So we're going to kick that heat down a little bit so it's just at a very, very light boil. Our marinara sauce is working wonderful, and the main thing from this point on is just to stir it from the bottom so that you don't end up having it stick either. All right, now, like I said, we got a lot to do today. So let's have a little bit of fun here. And I'm going to take some beautiful eggplant, slice it. We're going to slice it about a ½ inch in thickness. We only really need 4 pieces. I'm going to cut a couple extras just in case. Beautiful, fresh, again, buy fresh. You're wondering, what are we going to do with the eggplant? Well, let me tell you. Everywhere you go, you see eggplant parmesan. And what is that? That's breaded eggplant that's fried in grease. Not the healthiest thing. Here's an alternative. We're going to take a whole different approach and actually bake it with seasoned whole wheat breadcrumbs. So this is gluten-free, much healthier, and it's got a wonderful flavor on top of it all. So let's take a good look what we've got. We've got a little bit of milk, and in this milk, this is actually skim milk. 1 egg white is going to go into our wash, and by wash, that's where you would put the eggplant first before you put it into the breadcrumbs. So let's go ahead and make that wash, as I call it. And all we have to do here is separate out the egg yolk. And we're going to stir that egg in. And at this point, we can remove this and take that, stir it up well. Some people put seasoning and spice in their wash. That's fine if you want to do it. Just try to stay away from salt. You're going to notice we actually have not used salt. Now, let's let that sit for a moment. And right in this pan, which is going to become kind of our dredging pan, we're going to end up mixing our whole wheat, and that is along with some cracked black pepper, garlic, and listen, the details, this is about a teaspoon of each. You can go to mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat, and you'll be able to get the details in case you can't kind of keep up with what we're doing, because we do have a lot going on today. So we've added in white pepper, a little garlic powder, a little onion powder, and black pepper. Why? The whole wheat breadcrumbs are not seasoned like you would when you see Italian breadcrumbs. So you want to make sure you have a little flavor in there. And easy way to do it, just put it together, mix it this way. And you know, I think we're just going to dredge them in there. That works perfect. So now, we come back to our eggplant. We're going to have a little fun here. Mix that egg white up just a hair more. It looks perfect, by the way. And take our eggplant in that wash, submerge it, and then pop it into the breadcrumbs. Now, that's exactly the way you want it to look. I've got a greased pan here, and we're going to pop that eggplant right on that pan. 1, 2, and 3 is really what our portion was going to be. Then they're going to go in the oven. And you know what I think I may do? We love the crew here. You guys are awesome. So I may throw a few extra in just to make sure everybody gets to taste this, because I love this. Such a great way to do eggplant, a little different and a little healthy. So let's go ahead and knock out just a few more. And it's simple. And I mean, the fun part about this, you can do this with your kids in the kitchen. They can have a great time while they're in there kind of working. They get their hands a little dirty. It really, really is the perfect thing to do. And when these come out, this can be done with chicken for the kids. This can be done with shrimp. You can basically bake anything that you now fry, catfish, and enjoy it and have a much healthier meal. So let's go ahead, get these out. Now you're going to have to file me, because we're going to head over to the oven. And I've got that oven on. I'm going to kick it up, and it is on 400. And at that temperature, it won't take long for those to get nice and crispy. So now we're back, and let's stir a little bit. All right, everybody is like, well, how do you know when your pasta is done? Guys, you want to keep it a little crunchy, al dente it's called in Italy, and that just means that when you bite into it, your teeth feel a little bit of tension. You don't want it to fall apart, and with wheat pasta, it doesn't hold together because it doesn't have gluten, and gluten is the hardness in pasta that keeps it there. So you do not want to overcook them. What's the easy way? I mean, there really is no easier way. Get one, take it, try it. It's almost there. A couple more minutes. And you might want to cook yours a little different. So, you know, everybody has their own little favorite flavoring that they do as far as how much they cook their pasta. The marinara sauce is coming along fantastic. Gosh, I wish you could actually get that aroma. And you can see all the beautiful colors in there working so well. Well, we're back now to where we're going to finish and actually have some time to take a look at what we're going to do with our shrimp, then kind of pull back and double check in our eggplant. And I'm keeping a pan warm. What we're going to do is take the last little touch of the eggplant in this back skillet. And when I pull them out, they're going to be cooked thoroughly. They're going to have a nice little crispness on them. But when we're finishing it, I want to hit them on the pan just to sear them, just to give them that really great flavor. They're never going to be quite the same as frying. But this is going to have such a good flavor, you won't feel like you're missing anything. And that truly is the challenge when you're cooking healthy. You know, I really believe all of these recipes will help change the way you cook. So go to mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat, that's me, and you'll be able to get all of these recipes. And I really think the neat part as well is all the nutritional breakdown will be there. So you'll have a good idea, and there's all types of different constraints people have on their diet these days. So it may be that you can't eat gluten. It may be you can't have sugar. It may be you're trying to reduce your carbohydrates. I promise you, at mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat, you're going to be able to find a recipe that will suit your diet. Then all you got to do is basically take that recipe, maybe twist it up and put shrimp one day, chicken the next, and so on. All right, let's take, I think, before we get started on the shrimp, our pasta is finished. So we're going to take it off the heat. This is a nifty little setup, and I guess I ought to show you this. All it is a colander in a large bowl, so that when you drop the pasta, you can take it and immediately get it out of the hot water. You got to remember, pasta keeps cooking. Soon as you take it off, you're like, okay, my pasta's done. Don't make that mistake, because every minute it's sitting in that water, it's still cooking. Let's get rid of that hot boiling water, because we don't need that anymore. We're going to have the perfect amount of pasta. Remember, too, when you cook pasta, if you've got 4 ounces that you cook, it doubles in weight when it absorbs water. So it becomes about 8 ounces. All we did here is put together about 2.5 to 3 ounces, so our pasta portion size is nice and small. Let's take a quick stir here. Wow, the colors look so good. And I tell you what, the challenge that you'll have is to find the particular tomatoes that you really enjoy that have the ripeness on a consistent basis. And I'm a nut about that. What do I mean by that? Sometimes you'll see Valorosa tomatoes and they're green at the end. Well, what is that going to do to your sauce? I mean, that sauce is going to end up being bitter. You're going to end up having to add sugar to the sauce, which with the tomatoes I use, I never add sugar. You really don't need to, but if you were going to, try a sugar substitute like sucralose. You know, instead of loading your food full of sugar, we're trying to get you away from salt, sugar, carbohydrates, if possible, all right? And I think you can do it and still enjoy the food. That's the challenge. And, you know, I'm doing it myself. I mean, I think it's the way to try and keep yourself in shape as you get a little bit older, and unfortunately, I'm not getting any younger. All right, now, let's come over here. We're going to pop this pan on high. Before we leave this corner, we're going to check our eggplant. It's looking good. I can see the smoke coming off the top. Going to peek at the bottom just to see how they're doing. Turn one over, and we're going to give them a hair more. Let's go ahead, though. I think we can actually turn pretty much all of them over. Let's bring it out so you can actually see what I'm doing here. And I'm going to get a comfortable pan holder. All right. And let's see where we go with this. How about if I bring it right here in the center? And we're going to just literally turn these over. They're browning very nicely on the bottom. And we're going to pop them back in that hot oven. And then when all is said and done, sear them for that last step. And guys, you're not going to believe how good these are. You're really not. Back in the oven. And again, I know it sounds like a lot of repetition. Stir your sauce. Don't forget to stir your sauce. If you don't, you'll be sorry, because it'll stick on the bottom. And once something burns in a sauce, it's scorched. And you know, unfortunately, once that happens, you really can't fix it. So don't allow it to happen. You got to constantly watch, and this is something you can do ahead. You can make your marinara sauce ahead, have it sitting in your kitchen so that when your guests come, you don't have to constantly be laboring over your sauce. I would suggest that you do this ahead. So let's get started over here on the shrimp. Now these are beautiful. This is a recipe that I love, and it's spinach, shrimp, and roasted red peppers that we basically take and saute in a tiny bit of oil, about a teaspoon of garlic, little pinch of crushed red pepper. In case you don't know it, I like spice. I mean, if you're gonna eat healthy, I think it only makes sense that you put a little flavor and pizzazz in. Add your shrimp. And now on the side, we've taken, and these are just beautiful, fresh roasted red bell peppers. I put them over open flame, kind of skin them, and then slice them. So we're going to add those in. Now here's your choice. Many of you will have frozen spinach and probably have it all the time in your house. You can use frozen spinach in this dish, and it's nice. But personally, I would much rather use actual fresh spinach. So I have them both here. And what I'm going to do, take a little touch of both. There's the frozen. And again, it even says this, if you go to mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat, it even tells you, in case you can't get fresh spinach, that you can use frozen. But I love it. So let's throw that in. All right. Now, most times when you get to this point, you'd add more oil. Instead of that, we're going to deglaze that pan. And by deglazing the pan, all that means is get everything that cooked onto the pan off. And all I used just then was water. I mean, that's all it was. So simple. You can already see in the pan how many of the shrimp have already browned so nicely. And I'm telling you, it is a great, great dish. So let's go ahead. We're going to start thinking about plating this dish. So we got a lot going on here. What I needed to find, we're going to take one nice little cup, because we're going to put our marinara sauce on the side. You know, I kid around a lot with people about sauteing in a pan so that you get that nice turn. And the easiest way to do it is to learn with a piece of toast. I'll talk about that until I see you doing it, because it really isn't that hard to do. Marinara sauce, believe it or not, right now is perfectly edible because those tomatoes are so incredible. Look at that sauce. We're going to turn that heat down to low and just let it simmer. Turn this down to low, because what we're about to do is take our portion of our pasta and literally put about 5 ounces. That's all we're doing now. We're not making this a heavy meal. We're going to add, now we started with a half a teaspoon of oil. We're going to add another half teaspoon, no more. Do not put too much oil. Whole idea of this is to keep it nice and healthy. All right. Oh, it looks so good. And the aroma, I'm telling you, the aroma of the dish, it's beautiful. It's the colors of Italy. It looks so good. All right, you ready for this? So now, a little bit of oil in this pan and back. And we're going to go ahead. We're going to head over, get our eggplant out, sear it, and then put this meal together, because we're basically done. All right. Eggplant looks great. It looks just the way we want it to. Make a little extra room right here in the center, because we're going to put them right in the middle. There we go. Now we've gotten this pan, and you can tell It is good and hot. Let's go ahead and take one. And let's get the tongs, make it a little bit easier. Two. And the one that tried to escape, you're not going anywhere. We're going to get a nice little spoonful of our marinara sauce to go on the side to take and dip our eggplant in. Turn our eggplant. Woo, it looks so good. Perfectly brown. Set that on the side. And basically, we're done. Gonna get this pasta, put it directly over on the side. And I tell you what, if that isn't a meal fit for a king, I don't know what is. It's got the beautiful colors of Italy, the red, the green, the white. Incredible flavor. Light, heart-healthy pasta. Great flavor baked eggplant. And all I do, I tell you what, turning that around and looking at it, to me, that's the heart of Italy. It is simple ingredients combined in a way to make outstanding food. And you can take a slice of the eggplant, dip it in the marinara, maybe take a little dab of the marinara, throw it into the pasta, or eat the pasta just simply by itself, nice and light. And to me, that's the essence of real Italian cooking. You know, I enjoy the fact that it comes out so simple, so light. And remember, you can find all my recipes with the nutritional information on our website, mpbonline.org/fit-to-eat. Fit to eat. My goodness. And I'm Chef Rob Stinson. Thanks for watching Fit to Eat.
This program was made possible in part by
Family traditions are never more important than when families gather around the dinner table to celebrate special occasions. Farm families of Mississippi share the bounty of the harvest with families throughout the state and even the nation. Chances are that your gatherings include delicious sweet corn, baked sweet potatoes, and a rich golden pecan pie. Buy Mississippi-grown products. It's good for your family and it's good for Mississippi. The Farm Families of Mississippi.
Support for Fit to Eat comes from Mississippi Seafood Marketing, a division of the Department of Marine Resources. From our waters to your table, wild-caught Gulf fresh seafood is fresh, local, and healthy. Information at dmr.ms.gov.